人間の言語。この世界に人間がいます。どうしますか？
排除せよ。
Hey, what's up, everyone? So, Eden is a Netflix original anime, and that can mean one of two things. Either they got the streaming rights for an anime that they really had an interest in, or they helped produce and create the anime. And I think they've done a few where they helped produce it, but it's kind of hard to tell, so I'm not really sure where this one falls in. So, Eden is about this little girl, Sara, who is found by these robots when she's just a toddler, a little baby, and they pretty much raise her. And in her world, she's the last human. Like, these robots have been living in this world, harvesting apples and just kind of, going through the motions essentially for over 1,000 years. Because it's been over 1,000 years since the last human was ever seen. So, humans are kind of a myth to robots. And there's a lot of robots who, have this interest in humans. They love them. They're like, oh, humans. And they have like little fan clubs and whatnot. But the dictator, ruler, the evil robot Zero of their society, Eden 3, Eden 1, I forget what it was called, hates humans. So every time he finds out robots like humans, he reprograms them so they don't remember liking humans, and they go back to their basic programming of either picking apples or doing, labor for essentially no real reason. So when these two robots find Sara, they whisk her away to this society of other robots, like far away from Eden, so they can raise her and keep her safe from the evil robot, because they get infatuated with her and they really start liking her. And then she essentially grows up like really fast, and I don't want to give too much away about this anime, but it's essentially her trying to see. This is one of the problems with this anime. It's an okay anime. I really went into it really wanting to like it. I think Netflix had huge plans for it. They have great voice actors, Neil Patrick Harris, Rosario Dawson, David Tennant, because there's only a few characters who speak in this entire anime. That there's not a lot of voice actors, but a lot of them they got are really, really good. So they got some pretty good high-class voice actors, and the director of Full Metal Alchemist, Ishigo Iri, I forget his name, directed this anime. It's only 4 episodes long, but one of my issues with this anime, like I said, I really wanted to like it, is that it kind of meanders in the story. Like I said, I wanted to explain the story, but I kind of just, explaining it would give away too much about it, because it is about this little girl who was found and raised by robots, in a society where there are no more humans, and then there's an evil robot who wants to pretty much get her. And I guess you could say that's the plot. Just said it a lot faster and a lot easier, but there's more to it. But if you tell people the more to it, you kind of spoil the entire anime, in my opinion, because it's a very basic plot. A lot of the stuff is stuff we have seen. So this is well animated. It's CG, one of those CG cell shaded type animes. So it looks really good. I really like the way it looks. But one of my problems is the story, and the characters are fairly bland. There's not a lot of characters, and a lot of them just kind of don't hit. I don't really care about Sara. And then first episode and a half, I just find her annoying. Or the first 2 episodes, she's kind of annoying. And then by the second 2, I like her a little bit more, but just not enough, because there's only 4 episodes. So by the end, I'm just kind of like, well, whatever. I didn't really have enough time or enough moments to care about this character. And then we have her parents, which I forget their names. They're robots named 837 or something like that. And who she calls mom and dad because they found her. And then her uncle Joey, who's a robot. And then just the main villain, Zero. There's a few other characters who are important, but it gives away too much plot. But that's essentially it. Like I said, we don't get a lot of characters in this, and a lot of them aren't developed. The villain has probably the most development, but it's standard, cliche, trope stuff. Like I said, I love the animation in this. It was good. It had an interesting story idea, not necessarily unique, but they didn't really do much with it. And they especially kind of waste these 4 episodes. Like the first 2 episodes, or the first episode and a half, are just really kind of wasted. Like I feel like they could have sped it up and tightened it up to develop and flesh out these characters a lot more, and develop and flesh out this world a lot more. Like we find out a lot about the world, about it, but again, it's because it's standard cliche things, so you kind of just know the stuff from watching other things. So I give this, I wouldn't say a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. I'm gonna say 6.5. I wanted to like it, but like watching it, I was bored at times. I was planning on watching it a couple of times, but I only watched it the first time, because I really didn't enjoy it. Like I said, it was fine. I don't hate it. If you go into it and you love it, good on you. But I thought it was okay. Like I'm not gonna rewatch an okay show. Even if it's only 4 episodes, that's time that I can spend doing other things. So I'm just gonna watch an okay show once, and I thought it was an okay show. I would say check it out if you're interested. Like I said, Netflix was giving it a push, and I think they had high hopes for it, but it didn't hit. It didn't hit. So I want to talk spoilers really quick. So spoilers 1, 2, 3. If you haven't seen it, get out of here. Spoilers. Now's your chance. So spoilers. So in this anime, the evil robot Zero is this. There's only 2 humans left essentially in the world. That's Sara, and the evil robot Zero. He's the scientist who created all these robots and the Edens, because in the past, when the world was populated with humans, they don't really say it, but I guess it was overly polluted and dangerous, and people were just dying left and right. So he was, he's like, oh, we're running out of food and everything like that. So he created these robots and everything. They're like, we're gonna go to stasis, and then in the future, these robots are gonna redevelop the land and everything, and it's gonna be this beautiful, perfect place. And he has a daughter and a wife. And his wife ends up dying. I think she gets killed or something. It wasn't very clear. Maybe I wasn't paying attention that much, sadly. Like I said, I kind of got bored at times. And his daughter had a sickness, so she ended up dying. So he wakes up in the future essentially alone. And everything's perfect like he wanted it to be. And now, since he's awake and everything's good, he's supposed to say a password to revive like 100,000 or a certain amount of people who were in stasis, and revive humanity so they're back in this perfect world and they can start up, growing, building up, or whatever the heck, just being humans. So, but he wakes up and he's like, this is a beautiful world. If I wake up humans, they're just going to destroy it. So he essentially becomes one of these people who's just like, humans are bad, they shouldn't be part of the world, even though he leaves them in stasis instead of killing them. So he turns himself into the evil robot Zero and erases his memories or blocks them out. So he doesn't remember being human, and he's just like, humans are bad. So that's why there's his society's against human. Not necessarily because they did anything to the robots, but because he's angry that they messed up the world and his wife and daughter died, which is kind of understandable, but it's very cliche. So Sarah ends up finding out through this AI and this little robot, who belonged to his daughter, and then this AI that was the original AI of the Edens, and she's like, I just need the password, and then I can revive the humans, but no one knows the passwords. So she ends up finding out, and she gets captured a few times by Zero, and Zero freaking reprograms her mom and dad robot so they don't remember her, and she's very sad about it. That's supposed to be like the saddest moment in the anime, but I was just kind of like, it's okay. Anyway, and you fast forward to the end, they have this big fight, these giant robots, because of course they do for some reason. And then Sarah ends up beating him, or she defeats him with the help of all the other robots who love humans. And she jumps onto the giant robot to save a little robot, the evil giant robot to save a little robot, and she's about to fall off. And that's when, I'm jumping ahead, the original AI that I was talking about sounds like his daughter, so they get her to be like, oh, daddy, I love you, daddy, or whatever, to, regenerate his memories, and then it kind of works, but then he's like, no, I'm not going to do anything, and then Sarah falls off the giant robot, and then he sees her face, and it reminds him of his daughter, so he jumps out to save her, and then he gets badly damaged, and he's about to die, even though he's a robot. And he's like, okay, here's, I was wrong. Humanity maybe could be good. Who knows? But he gives her the password, and she says the password, and then all the human pods just come out of the ground magically, which is kind of weird. I'm like, they're not in a safe environment. They're just dug under the ground, and they just popped out like seeds or plants. Okay, whatever. But she revives them, and she opens up a pod, and there's another little baby. So I think the pods are full of little babies. So just kind of saying like, oh, we can make society better or something like that. I don't know. Maybe there's adults, they don't really go into it. And then the evil robot guy survives by putting his brain into another robot. And he's just like, I'm just going to keep my brain in here for now. And that's essentially where it ends, the end. Like I said, it's fine. It's a fine anime. The story's very cliche. You can see a lot of things coming. Like, you could tell the evil robot was probably a human because they mentioned it a few times. They're like, oh, and we see flashbacks of this scientist, trying to build up the Edens and everything. You're like, that's probably him. And you see his sister or his daughter sick, and you're like, his daughter probably dies, and he just gets pissed off. And that was exactly it. Like I said, it's a bunch of cliche stuff that you can see coming a mile away. But it's an okay anime. If you want to watch it, go check it out. I don't hate it. I just thought it was okay. It could have been better. Like I said, it had interesting ideas. It had a good director. I'm not sure who wrote it, but maybe they just needed to tighten it up. I don't know. Maybe that was the issue. But it didn't come together the way it should have with the talent that was behind it. Maybe they didn't have the money. Who knows? But either way, it just didn't come together. Like I said, check it out if you want. I thought it was okay. Not necessarily anything bad. Fine. Just fine. So, if you watched it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Have you not watched it? Don't make my thoughts make you not want to watch it. If you're interested, go check it out. Alright, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.